There's a few passages in the Bible that kind of get to me. I only know a few, so most of them get to me. But there are certain ones, and maybe you too, that kind of penetrate my soul and rock my spirit. And well, today's gospel is one of them. Jesus and his disciples are in the temple, and they come in the temple and they put money in the treasury. And he noticed that people that had a good amount of money were able to put a good amount of money in the treasury. But then a very poor person comes in, and she puts in 2 copper coins, supposedly worth a penny. And then Jesus says to his disciples, this lady who just put in 2 copper coins, she has given more than anybody else, because she has given out of the very poverty of what she has. She basically gave it all. And this passage is not about money. It's about giving from the very guts and fiber and essence of who you are. It's about giving something that's very important, not just what's left over, but giving from the heart and the soul. And I'm sure you have people in your life, maybe somebody who's gone before, that just daily inspires you when you think of that person. And I know, when I talk about my family, you take what I say, divide by 3, and the truth is in there somewhere. But whenever I read this passage, I think of my grandparents. And they had this cute little bungalow in Roseland. And my grandpa came over here on the boat from Sweden at the age of 16, and he didn't have nothing. But he went to work, and he became what they call a rough carpenter, which really means he wasn't all that good. But he was a carpenter. And he met a lady, and they got married and bought this little house. And he was so proud to be Swedish, but so proud to be an American. And he had a lawn about the size of my office. And he had one of those lawnmowers with no motor on it. You just kind of push it. It didn't really cut the grass, it kind of bent the grass. And then it would pop back up and he'd cut it again. But after he got done cutting the grass, he'd sit on his front porch. And he'd turn on the White Sox on the radio, and he'd have a can of Ham's beer. And he just looked so happy. And I would say, I want to be like Grandpa someday. And I am. But whenever I came home from being at their house, I would say, Mom and Dad, Grandma and Grandpa have got to be the richest people in the world. Well, I wasn't sure what was bigger, my grandma's apron or her heart. But they loved America. They were so thankful for the freedom to build a new life. Little did I know, as a kid, that when they died, they had nothing. They had so little money. And yet they gave me quarters and blackjack gum and a bamboo fishing pole. But what they did is everything that was theirs was ours. They just couldn't give you enough. And I realize more and more, as I get older, that giving ultimately is not about how much. Giving is a way of life. It's a lifestyle. Giving is in your guts, it's in your heart, and it's in your spirit. And giving is about those beautiful babies. It is. Those are happy sounds. Each one of us, in our own way, has a lot to give. And giving is not just about money, but when you don't have enough money, when you get up every morning and can't pay your bills, when you can't take care of your family and friends like you want to, it eats at your heart and soul. It eats at your spirit. And so somehow, some way, we are called to come together to give unto others so people can have their dreams somehow come true. It's why we're here. We take that message that Jesus gives to us and we try to make it come alive in the way we work on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. So today is Veterans Day. Yesterday was the Marine Corps birthday. It's the armistice, and I think of those of you who have sacrificed and served and given on behalf of your country. I think of the impact that being in World War II or Korea or Vietnam or Afghanistan or Iraq, the impact of serving in a foreign land, how it changes your life. And it makes your life different forever, and sometimes you have to pay a long price for that. But I realize every day, thanks to you vets, I couldn't take care of my kids. I couldn't be Quentin's dad. I couldn't open the door of the church. I couldn't make a pot of coffee if it weren't for the gift of freedom that each one of you stands for. And we probably don't say thanks enough. And it makes me realize more and more, there is no room for prejudice and hatred. There is no room for being self-absorbed and selfish. There is no room for being too busy that we cannot reach out and make the world of at least one other person just a little bit better. And you know, we're entering a very chaotic time of the year. Even had a few arguments already about who's going to have Thanksgiving and Christmas and where we're going to go. And if you don't have enough money to take care of your kids, it's a tough time of the year. But I think of our veterans, our men and women in uniform, and I realize the best present we can share is the gift of freedom and giving unto each other. Not just stuff, but our time and our heart. I think of that young lady in our church, Jessica. She and her boyfriend go to California to follow their dreams, and they buy this cute little house. And it's gone. But somehow, some way, the meaning of Thanksgiving and Christmas is that they will have the courage and the hope to get back on their feet. Then there's little Jackson, 17 months old, and his life ended unexpectedly last week. And many of you know what that's like. And he and his mom just started coming here. How do you measure the impact on the world of somebody who was only here for 17 months? He hadn't even gotten his first children's sermon toy. All the dreams his parents had for him, the pain, the unanswered questions of why me. You see, but as our veterans have given it all, as an old Rosalind Swede gave it all, as each one of you try to give it all every single day to make it in this world, little Jackson gave it all for 17 months. And his spirit and his memory will never be a thing of the past. His smile, his innocent courage, they will light up his parents' life for the rest of their lives, his grandparents' life, his cousin's life, his aunt and uncle's life. From the very depth and poverty of who he is, Jackson makes a difference. So today the flag waves and the coffee is on, and we turn the key to our house and to our office for yet another day. And somehow in the middle of all this, in the middle of all the chaos and uncertainty, there's a loving God who empowers us with more strength and more courage than we ever thought possible. Amen. If you're able to, please rise for the creed. It's on page 105.